Good day to you. So welcome to the of our simple reflection in the Sunday readings in our YouTube channel. I hope you are well. So today we are in the 27th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And there's one basic question that I think it would summarize our reflection for today, okay? This Sunday. It's about being a disciple. And the question is, what kind of a disciple are we? Or what kind of a servant are we? All of us are called to be disciples. All of us are called to be servants of the Lord. And it's good to know that in our readings, especially the gospel, would tell us that all of us is a servant of the Lord. All of us are disciples of Jesus. All of us are learners. And it is nice to reflect on what kind of a disciple are we. So let us ask ourselves. Because oftentimes we invite other people and then we inspire them. I don't know if you would inspire them really, but it would tell you that some of us would like to pinpoint others, and sometimes people are happy of blaming others. I don't know if they are happy or not. But the point is, all of us, or some of us, would see others, would judge others, evaluate others. Okay? But Jesus is telling us today, what kind of a servant, what kind of a disciple are we? Okay? So, what kind of a disciple are we? And in the readings of today, especially in the first reading, we see in the book of Prophet Habakkuk. Prophet Habakkuk, in the text today, this Sunday, he's complaining. He said, "Why, Lord, I see a lot of violence, oppressions in my own eyes, and I see tyranny. Where are you, Lord? Where are so many injustices and violence? Where are you, Lord?" You know what the Lord said to Habakkuk? The Lord said to Habakkuk, He said, "Write down this vision, slow down." And He said, "You just, you must be remain faithful, and you would live." Aha. A disciple, meaning learners, all of us are called to faithfulness. What is the root word of faithfulness? Faith. As a disciple, as a servant of the Lord, we are called to have faith in God. We see a lot of people, we see many people, we see injustices, we see oppressions, tyranny. But the question is, are we or do we follow them also? Oftentimes, we see popular things, and as if these popular things is right. Remember, not all popular things are correct. That's why the Lord is inviting us today. You see, we see a lot of oppressions, but the question is, are we faithful? They're called to be disciples. We are called to follow Jesus. But the question is, are we faithful? Do we want to follow Jesus? And the second reading, it tells us about what kind of disciple are we. We are not only faithful, but according to Saint Paul, we must become martyrs of the Lord. And he said, never be ashamed of witnessing the Lord. Are we ashamed of our faith? Do we love our faith? Are we willing to profess our faith in Jesus? Oftentimes we are ashamed to proclaim that we are Catholics. Even the simple sign of the cross, we are ashamed. Are we? That's why, what kind of disciple are we? Are we faithful? Are we ashamed to our faith? That's why, dear brothers and sisters, it's a good thing to know that Jesus is telling us today that particular question to examine ourselves. We question about commitments in our parishes, in our churches. But do we ask that question to ourselves? We are happy to pinpoint others, but we forget to pinpoint ourselves. We say, oh, people are not committed. But the question is, are you committed also to your faith? We are mere servants. We are only do what we ought to do as disciples. We do our service not for the sake of ourselves, but for God. Remember the twofold thing that every worship that we do, every actions that we do in our churches, it is for God's glory. That is the main thing. And then second thing, it's for our sanctification. So we as disciples of Jesus, we as disciples of the Lord, as servants of the Lord, we are called to be faithful and to become martyrs of the Lord. When we say martyrdom, witnessing. Are we willing to witness? Are we willing to become a witness of Jesus in this world? My dear brothers and sisters, this is the invitation. We are mere servants. And also, sometimes I heard a lot of people would say, and even some priests would say, you own the church. You own the church. We as a priest would come and go. What do you think? Is that correct mentality? Is that a good theology? Is that a good understanding about the church? If that is our mindset, so therefore our church building is built up of our own talents only. What builds our church? Faith. And Jesus said, asked, and the disciples said, ask that you have this increase of faith. That's why the apostles said to the Lord, Lord, increase our faith. And what the reply of Jesus? Lord. The Lord replied, were your faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to the mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted on the sea, and it will obey you.